don't care what you think of me. I don't need your approval. I don't need to impress you. I have no patience for people's stupidity.
Do you feel bad about some of the people that got burnt along the way?
Can you name me the names of the people? And I'll tell you if I feel bad about them.
You've been described as a con woman. Very good con artist.
I don't see myself as such.
You don't think you've conned anybody?
No.
All right, Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so she doesn't need your approval. So that strikes me as her stating immediately she's outside of the usual society. So keep that in your mind. She has no patience for people's stupidity. And there's a protest after that as well with a huff and a shift as well. So keep that in there in your mind as well. That she doesn't need approval from society, and she thinks some of that is also quite stupid. Interesting question. Do you feel bad about some of the people who got burnt? So I'm going to pick up on that metaphor because it immediately reminds me of New York and Bonfire of the Vanities. So we'll come there in just one moment. And you've got to understand that if you stand very close to some kind of artificer, some kind of Tubal-Cain or Vulcan who is creating stuff with a fiery nature, you will get burnt. You will get burnt if you stand close to somebody who is creating something which is quite volatile and exciting. So it's interesting, I think, that he uses that metaphor. I love how she comes back, which is just name them, because that's a real challenge. So now I think we see her character here, which is she pushes back and she challenges and she says, no, I'm going to put you under scrutiny. And for me, she scrutinizes the idea of let's put their sin and their stupidity under scrutiny. So for me here, she is being a bit of a Tom Wolfe, a satirist. It is this New York idea of, can I do something here that puts the rest of New York under the microscope and not me anymore? Here's what so it is this, she potentially does, and I think this is what's so exciting about her, she does put New York under the scrutiny of wealth, class, race. And what a con does is praise upon other people's vanity, praise upon what they desire most and what they're going to be most weak around. So I just think, I think it's just quite interesting that you can only, as somebody once said to me, you can only con a greedy person. And therefore, if she is a con, as he says, what were her victims greedy for? What was New York, New York is her mark, not just individuals. New York, a specific part of America is her target here. What was that specific part of America greedy for that allowed her to get as far as she got? And just like Bonfire of the Vanities, or its post that 6 Degrees of Separation, another piece of literature which looks at the vanity of New York, there you had people who had greed for looking virtuous. So what is it that people are greedy for that makes Anna a fantastic person to be around and to sidle up to and be taken in by? At this point, I think she's quite extraordinary. And though I agree, Scott, we're getting a better interviewer here, I think we're going to see her get this interviewer into a position that we haven't seen this interviewer in before. I think we're going to see her con him. We're going to see her prey upon his vanity in this situation. Anyway, long explanation. Greg, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, I can see now how she got to where she got. This is all flirtation. This is absolute flirtation. There's not a thing missing here. If she's doing this intentionally, she's masterful. Her cheeks, now she's got blush on to make her cheeks look even more plump, but her lids are heavier. She has her eyes tilted a little bit different way. She's got a heavier jaw, heavier cheekbones. Everything looks like there's blood flow to her face, which we associate with real real flirtation or with sexual attraction. When she says, I have no patience, she doesn't look like the same person. I think what we're seeing when she says, I have no patience, is some B-reel. I think the editing here is playing in, because she says, I have no patience. And I think she's talking to somebody who is off camera and not him. She has that snide and kind of little snuff under her breath with a laugh. And then she starts to turn back in to herself when he comes into the play again. When he says something, you see that she says, tell me who. And then she breaks eye contact away from him. She does this is classic flirtation. Tilt her head and draw away. That is a way that people do. They're showing their neck, showing the feminine part of her body. And she makes solid eye contact. Let's see, what else have I got in here? She has slight contempt in her face at the same time she's doing that, because she has contempt for those people, but she's drawing him in. So this is masterful in terms of that. And if you haven't seen that before, it's probably because you're not paying attention. When I would teach young interrogators, I'd often say some women's deception cues can be the same as their seduction cues. No idea why, we have no idea, but that same kind of curling of the face, getting softer, your head turning down to the right, all of those pieces were there. You will also see that she has, if you take a piece of paper and hold it up over her face on the video to the right and to the left, dramatically different smiles when she's talking about these people, so you can really see the contempt. But I think she flirted her way to the top. I think she went in there and she said what people needed to hear. She turned herself into a mirror of what they wanted to see. Scott, more than doing what they're doing, I think she's feeling out what they need and turning into what they need. That's the piece I see. Chase, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with you guys completely. And when she's saying, I don't need your approval, I don't need to impress you, this is a caricature that she made to cover up what she sees, I think, as her own weakness or her own flaw, is needing this from other people. Because these are behaviors, not caring and not needing something from somebody. These are behaviors that we will witness in other people, but they are not behaviors that people will just come out and say and discuss openly. These are behaviors that we see in other people, not that they just tell us. We find out somebody doesn't care because of how they act, not what they say. And whether or not it is B-roll, when she's talking about this patience for people's stupidity, and I only say that because I don't know. I didn't catch the edit in that one. This is followed by a large exhale laugh. And she is starting a pattern now you're really, really going to see in some upcoming videos. That is a method for burning off adrenaline and stress. So this is maybe a regulator or pacifier behavior. This helps to calm her down. And when the interviewer asks, do you feel bad about this? There's emotional eye accessing, just like Greg was saying. There's some truth here. There's some real stuff going on. I think she does feel something for them. And that would be a great place to dig as the interviewer. That I see emotional accessing with a short answer. I need to make that into a long answer the moment that I see that. So before the YouTube comment warriors get to work, keep in mind that we've all been interviewing people from different backgrounds and countries for a very long time, and we do actually exist outside of YouTube. I promise we actually do. We actually are real humans. But just in case that's not enough, I called up a Russian behavior profiler today, even one in Hungary, who spends time interviewing Russians for a living to ensure that this assessment and some of these behaviors are not just, oh, that's Russian. No. In fact, these are spot on, and there's no secret anomaly that I have never heard of. So as a final thing here, when she says, I don't see myself as such, there's an unusual eye movement to around 5 o'clock. If you're looking at her eyes as a clock, we move our eyes to access memories and to think about stuff. There's a full lack of actual denial. There's kind of fake language there. And I could choose to not see myself as anything I'd like to ignore. And this contempt look on her face is fabricated based on years of learning her style of this kind of rapid, what I would call rapid social adaptation, just kind of a master manipulator. So this shows us that she wants you to see the mask that she's wearing. She's very impressed with herself, but not for conning people. It's her performance in this video that we're seeing her most impressed with when we're seeing this self-satisfaction on her face. Scott, what do you got?
All right, you guys, dang, you covered everything. So I'll throw in a couple of things. Let's go back to the first part where she says, I don't need your approval and I don't want to impress you. Don't need to impress you. Hell, I feel that way. I don't even care about anybody's approval. Look at this hat. I don't care. But if I was to start adding stupid people and to start cutting down the people who are judging me, quote unquote, or whatever, that's different. Especially, and she's talking about her victims at this point. So she's totally degrading them, and that's that says a lot about her. But that's not good. That shows you what you're dealing with at that point. Once you hear that, you go, oh, okay, I see what I've gotten into here. The part where he says you've been described as a con artist. That's when she gets really still and she sort of backs off a little bit and everything gets quieter. And we're going to see this again. We've seen it before in the videos before. I think this might be part of who she really is, because she's not coming back at him, but she's just sort of accepting it at that point. So this may be a little a cue of seeing who we are, because it's a blank face at that point. Again, we've seen a lot of these blank expressions, which is when you get into it in depth, it's a little unnerving as often as you see this. And again, as we go through, watch her eyebrows. Nothing. When she's smiling, her eyes are the same as when she's got a blank stare with nothing happening from the eyes down. It's really creepy when you really get into it.
I don't care what you think of me. I don't need your approval. I don't need to impress you. I have no patience for people's stupidity.
Do you feel bad about some of the people that got burnt along the way?
Can you name me the names of the people? And I'll tell you if I feel bad about them.
You've been described as a con woman. Very good con artist.
I don't see myself as such.
You don't think you've conned anybody?
No.
If you like this video, get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.